so much for agreeing to do this. We're really, really happy to be spotlighting Comeback Kids. As I already told you, I think it's a great program. You could see your name and your title, so that way we can include it. That would be great.
So my name is Teresa Swickla. I'm one of the principals of the Comeback Kids Charter School.
My name is Jasmine Cortez. I was a student at Comeback Kids.
My name is Melissa Garcia, and I was a student at Comeback Kids.
My name is Marnie Pastor. I'm the Community Dropout Prevention Specialist for the Comeback Kids program.
Okay, wonderful. And we want to learn sort of your strategies for getting students back in school, what you do once they're enrolled, what makes you different from other programs where you might just get your GED, and then also sort of what you do to help transition out of high school. So maybe we could start
Sure.
with you with an overview and then with the students.
Sure. So we are a dropout recovery program for ages 16 to 23 for a high school diploma or students that are going for a high school equivalency. We have over 20 sites around Riverside County. We are in schools, we're in community centers, we also are in our regional learning centers, so we're trying to be in different places that students are. We work directly with districts, and we also are out there by word of mouth, obviously. Students come to us that have dropped out, maybe don't fit in a regular school district, or maybe they were bullied in school, or maybe they had to go to work, had a child, any of those types of things. So they'll come back and come back to school with us. Once they're with us, we do offer a lot of opportunities. We have one-on-one, so and we have a flex schedule, so students aren't there every day. So that way, if they want to work or they need a parent to their students, they can, or their babies, they can go out and do those things. We offer some skills classes, academy training. We do interventions. We have CDPs, which are community dropout prevention specialists, and so those we have now 6 of them. So they're there to help us intervene if a student needs assistance, whether it's getting childcare, maybe it's counseling, maybe it's a bus pass, maybe it's finding a home. So we do have services, and we have them throughout the county where we connect the students to our liaisons, and then they help students find those resources.
Okay. So when you say you're in regional centers, just to clarify, I'm assuming you say they're where the students are. So are they typically community centers where they'd be going for other resources, and so you're able to sort of get?
So yes, we are in youth opportunity centers.
Okay.
We are actually on some other high school campuses as well.
Okay.
And then we are on the RCOE alternative ed centers, which are all in the heart of different cities. Like Moreno Valley is right where we have all the continuation schools, bus stops, that kind of thing, CTE places. So everything is really centralized.
Great. Jasmine, tell us a little bit about your experiences of what brought you to Comeback Kids, and then once you were there, what you really enjoyed about it, what really kept you going, and then what you're doing from this point forward. So.
Well, I mean, growing up, I've never had the easiest life. I had to deal with many obstacles from my parents' personal issues, and then from my own health issues, and then never having anybody really there for me. So I had to grow up on my own. So I was never also the best behaved person as well. So I would get kicked out from certain schools and programs, and eventually, a really great teacher mentioned about the Comeback Kids program, and I wasn't really interested. I just wanted to finish school, but once I went to registration and I signed up, it was a school where I just didn't want to leave. I didn't even want to graduate because it was such a warm environment. And my teachers, Mr. Howell and Ms. Martinez, they make the classroom into a home. It's just something so amazing, and it made you want to continue to go to school. It's not a place where they just saw you as a troubled student or someone that's under you. They leveled with you, and I think that's what makes it even better, because they try to understand you, and they don't try to make it seem like they're better just because they're a teacher. Right? They're in their position that they're in. No, and I mean, just because they are teachers doesn't mean they don't have their own issues. So we can really level with them, and they can level with us. So that's why I love Comeback Kids.
That's great. So did they then, it's sort of a more holistic approach, would you say? Like they're more interested in you as a person and as a student, obviously, based on like they care about your educational success, but Do they take an interest in outside,
Oh,
sort of helping and obviously that would be very different than a traditional high school. But
Yeah, most definitely. It's not like high school. You have to go, you sit down, and you leave, and that's it. But no, these are teachers that you're gonna remember for ever, for a very long time, because they push you to do your best because they see your potential, and then as far as your personal level, they always try to see if they don't see you happy, they want to know what's wrong or if they can help you. And apart from that, also with your education, I mean, that's their job, and they do a really great job at it.
That's great. Did you participate in any, sort of outside opportunities while you were in high school or with the Comeback Kids Charter, or were you primarily just taking classes? Did you ever do college trips, or did you do anything to get you sort of out of what would be a more traditional classroom and get you exposure to the real world and what you might want to be working toward?
I unfortunately came late to the program. I came 2 months before it ended. So the only college trip I was able to attend was the one at UCR.
Okay. But that's good. They got you out,
Yeah,
and
they
so
did.
you had some idea of what was out there.
Did you meet with the College Connection coach?
Yes, I did. I met with Jeremy, and he's amazing. You're number one to him, and he will put his all for you to attend college and to attend wherever you want to do. He's helped me with my FAFSA, with the registration and everything. If it wasn't for him, I don't think I would even be going to college.
That's great. I'm sure that's.
So yes, we have college coaches, and we partner with RCC. Sorry, RCC. We have 2 college coaches that go around and meet with students that are preparing to graduate, like Jasmine here, and they do walk them through that process because it is overwhelming, and to have somebody sitting there with them, showing them step by step, filling out that FAFSA, because the FAFSA alone is, yes, for anybody is very overwhelming, and for a lot of our students that are on their own, it's even more overwhelming because they're not sure what to include, what not to include. They'll also meet them on the campuses, help them get enrolled, and really just support anything that they need. And they make sure they'll call, they'll come back, they make appointments, right?
Yes, they do.
And so we do that throughout our county with all of our students, and the College Connections really focus on those that are ready to make that transition to that next step.
Okay. So then College Connections, just so I understand, is part of Comeback Kids? It's
We
sort of
partner.
within the umbrella you
Yes.
partner with? Okay. And I'm assuming, do they talk to all the students or just those that have expressed an interest?
They will talk to any student
Okay.
that expresses an interest in college, and in regards to the FAFSA, those are the ones that are ready for that next step. But yes, any student, they will start the process early. We have no problems with that. In order to target our younger kids, next year we'll be doing something called Get Focused, Stay Focused. So we'll be focusing on our younger students, our 16 to 18-year-olds that still have about 100 credits left to go. And hopefully that will be a program that will start very early to get them started on that college track.
That's wonderful. That's great. So now that we're on the topic of college, the big question is, you just graduated last week. I heard you had an amazing speech.
Thank you.
So what's next?
Well, I love business, and I love helping people, and I love speaking, so I hope I can find something in between. I really don't know what I want to do. I know I'm going to go to get my general ed, and from there, see what catches my eye, but I know I do want to continue on with my education.
It's wonderful. And that's thanks to Jeremy.
Thanks to Jeremy, because before I met the Comeback Kids, like principal or the teachers or anybody from there, my plan was to never attend college. I said I'll be fine without it, I don't need to, and they opened my eyes to many things that I didn't know before, and it just really encouraged me to continue to learn and to continue with my education. So I have to really thank them.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because in talking to you, you have so many interests, and so it's good that they were able to sort of tap into those, because otherwise, if you're at a traditional high school potentially, and then nobody takes an interest. I know teachers seem to be really bogged down, and it's sort of finishing the period or whatever, getting through the class. And so it's wonderful that they were able to kind of channel what you're, what you're good at, and now what you want to go after. So that's great. All right. So Melissa, same set of questions for you, very generally. Maybe if you could give us an idea again of how you came to, or sort of came to be with the Comeback Kids Charter, your experiences with, and then your plans for after.
Okay, well, I've always been back and forth from homeschooling to public schools, and I heard about CBK through a friend. And I'm like Jasmine, I wasn't too excited about it because when I would get into homeschooling programs, I would procrastinate a lot, and I would do online schooling. So it was always like emailing your teacher, and it would take forever for like a response and stuff. So I was like, maybe it's gonna be the same. But it wasn't until I met my teacher, Mrs. Sanders, when I felt comfortable. I knew it was gonna be like super easy. I knew she was gonna help me a lot with school because I was kind of behind on credits. So that's when I felt really comfortable, and then I started getting involved in activities. I was in leadership team. I would go to Academy, and I did college for it as well. And it was really fun, and it really helps you like be motivated to go to school. I was really motivated, and I met a whole bunch of new people, and it was just really fun.
So you would then have a lot of experience with sort of what we think is the standard alternative to a traditional high school, which is online, homeschooling or home study. And you noticed a huge difference with this program. So is that, from day one, is it the teachers that made a difference? Is it the fact that you had to go into class occasionally? I don't know, how many days a week do you guys go into class?
Well, you sort of choose your schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's once a week.
They require once a week.
Okay.
It is an independent study program.
Okay.
But for students that need more support, we require more days. For students that just want support, they can come in anytime.
Okay.
Anytime that we are open, our doors are always open. Students may come in. Teachers are available. Tutors are available. So it's that flexibility. We just at least want to see them once a week, but we will see them way more. If we have a math class or a tutoring session, some of them come, or maybe an art session, or like Melissa said, she did Vocademy and leadership.
So maybe, can you tell me a little bit about Vocademy and then the leadership program too, just since that's definitely not part of an online.
Yeah, well,
program.
Academy, you can take different classes like woodshop, like casting, what else, electronics, welding, and I took a few of those, and it's really fun. Yeah.
And so the skills that she's doing, those are the skills that are the new 21st century manufacturing skills that are out there. They're high demand. You have to have a lot of skill. And there's things that, that are going to be in homes pretty soon. Things like 3D printing. Did you get to do that one?
No, I didn't.
You didn't get to do that one. So pretty soon, nobody's going to have a regular printer. They're going to have a 3D printer in their homes. I think that's the wave of the future. But she's doing things that she can get a job. She can get an internship. She can open her eyes and try things that might spark an interest. Something very different.
You did 3 levels of woodshop, didn't you?
Yes, woodshop, I did sewing, like casting, and welding.
So this sort of leads into a little bit what we were talking about earlier about what you're going to do afterwards. And so it seems like from your experience with Academy that you're kind of creative, potentially, going through three stages of woodworking. I couldn't make it through one, so
I wanted to try new things.
Well, I guess that's perfect and lines up then. So where are you going forward? You also graduated last week.
Yes.
So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what are you hoping to do now?
I want to go to cosmetology and RCC, and Jeremy helped me, sign up into RCC, and I took my assessment, my online orientation. So I'm just waiting to apply. I'm already going to apply the 3rd week of June.
Okay. So I have a question for you guys, and I don't know how this would work, and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but if in 6 months you needed help with something, applying for financial aid or something, is it something where the Comeback Kids Charter would be open to having Jeremy help it. Is that, do you have students come back and help you throughout
Yeah.
We do.
the rest of your educational
I
process?
mean, I already graduated and I'm still in contact with them. He still
Okay.
helps me out.
Yes.
I have a student from 6 years ago that is now reconnecting to go back to school again. And Sheila, our other college connection partner, is helping her.
That's wonderful.
So yes, they do.
You don't just
Yeah.
We
drop
don't just
We
them
don't drop
off
them.
at
There,
the door.
our doors are
Yeah.
always open to them to come in.
Well, that's
I mean, yeah,
Also
I
different.
graduated last week, but I still go to class every
I
day.
know.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, because it's just, I remember I didn't even like going to school.
Mhm.
I wouldn't go at all, and I was forced to, obviously. But then when I got into comebacks, they couldn't get me out.
Yeah.
And it was just something so amazing because it's just this family environment that you always look for and expected, and you have it, and it's in your comeback.
That's so wonderful. And it's keeping you around. That says a lot because most kids, you know, the bell rings and you want to tear out. So the fact that you're still around if you're graduating and you want to be around, that's so important. And it's great that you'll have help. It sounds like as long as you want it. Don't want to
Yeah.
impose too much,
Nope.
obviously.
Oh,
but
no,
it
no,
sounds
no.
like you're open to it.
We are
Very,
open.
yes.
Any students that wants help,
And that's
we
that-
will help them.
And that's what's so neat about this program is these students, whatever their story, their path, whatever, they came back and they know that education piece is so important. And our program is such a warm feeling, like the girls have stated, their teachers have made such a difference. And that is what's so, I enjoy about it because these teachers they're so dedicated. Our principals are so dedicated. I was the only CDP for the beginning of the year. Now I'm gaining more. So I'm very happy because I know I did a lot and I know having more, we can do so much more because of the caring. I mean, I worked a lot with Melissa. I got to work at the end with Jasmine and seeing these young ladies graduate from school at graduation. Like, those are my babies because some of them, they had to take a leave of absence and they had to come back and making sure I was working with them. What's going on? How can we get you back? How can we help to assist you? Because we know you want to finish. We don't want to lose you. So anything in our power that we could do, we would make sure we can do that for them to help them completely to get where they need to get going. And, you know, like they talked about Jeremy and Sheila, they're awesome for that part, for that registration for college and everything. Was telling Melissa on the way here, make sure she goes see the counselor for her educational plan at RCC, getting that all set up. So with everybody in our program, everybody wants the best for our students, no matter who we are or what role we play. They always have somebody on that got their back for them. And, you know, I've told all of them, you know, we're here. You need anything, give me a call. You have my number. You know where I'm at. Just let me know. We will help you in any way possible that we can to get them going to where they need to go, because this is their first step and they have many more steps to get there further overall. And I'm excited for them so much.
Mary, maybe you could give us an idea of what you do as a
CDP.
CDP.
My main thing is making sure once we got our students in, we don't lose our students, to keep them to keep them helping in. Some of our students have became parents during the school year, so we let them know they go on maternity leave too. So we put them on a leave of absence, and they have to contact us back when they're ready to come back, so we don't have to drop them and come back for a new registration. Because sometimes some of our students, they will not to stop coming, so then they leave, and then a few months later they want to come back. And so they have to go through the whole registration process. So we try to let them know, hey, we understand life does happen. And we get that a lot of you are young adults. Some of you have families, other circumstances going on. Communicate with us. Communicate with your teacher. Let them know, hey, this is going on. How can you help us? And we've been able to put some of the students on a leave of absence through an intervention. We have a form because we use haiku. So the teachers have it on their page, and it's also on the student page because they may not want to go through the teacher. There's a link that clicks on there, and then they just fill out their information and what type of services that they're looking for, and then it responds to me through an email. And then we have this nice beautiful form because it's all on Google. It comes out a nice beautiful spreadsheet already, and I go off of that, and then I'll contact the student via email or by phone depending what type of circumstance it is. And maybe they only need a bus pass, so I'll get them a bus pass. Sometimes, like I said, they need a leave of absence. You know, sometimes they've had some mental health issues. I was prior a social worker, so I do have resources also too. We do have our school counselor, which I know she has valuable resources also too. So I know where to send them to get the help that they need. You know, we've had students that lost parents or a significant other throughout the school year also too. So these young men and women, they've been through a lot. So we want to make sure we don't lose them and they know that key is important. So talking with them, letting them know, hey, we're here, and they will come back in and pop in, hey, I need a little bit more time. Okay, thank you for letting us know. So I keep them on radar, who's supposed to be back when, so I'll give them a call. Hey, how's it going? How's things doing? Or do you need more time? You know, we had one student, the grandmother was sick, was taking care of her. You know, hey, she's still not well. And okay, we're good. As long as the communication is there. That's what we, during orientation time when the students come to be a part of the comeback kids, they have to go through an orientation process. And then one of my big thing I like to tell them is communication is key for this program to be successful. You need to communicate with us to let us know, hey, what's going on, because all our goal is to get you done with your education. Whatever way we can do that and help you, we're here for that. So as long as the communication is there, and our teachers are great with that, because nice big long intervention sheet. I was always out doing interventions. Most of the time you would never see my office because of Riverside County is huge. Like Teresa said, there's 20 sites. So at the beginning there was only one of me. So I was running around Riverside County quite a bit. Now that we're getting more, we're dividing it up. So I'll be just running around a little area instead. But another focus that we do have with our CBK program is our leadership team, where each of our sites have leaders. This year is coming up to new changes. We're going to run it more like a student body, like an ASB, where the students are the focus, they're running it, and each site has a representative and letting them know what's going on. We're going to do some fundraising for prom. We do community projects. We did Bag of Hopes, where each site they have to donate certain items, and then we put the bags together, and through community events we go and donate it for the homeless. You know, so we have people out in the desert, they have their events, so we ship some bags off out in the mid-county here in Riverside so they can get back to the community to let them know what's going on. And we also host their senior events, and so with some of our younger ones, we're going to have them help out also at the events too. So the staff can mingle more with the students and, you know, helping out too. So we're going to be, I'm excited, new things coming aboard for the next year with a CBK program. You know, it's an awesome program. I really enjoy working with everybody.
That's great. And I got caught up on something that you said, and it's a totally insignificant question in the grand scheme of things, but I would never have thought, you guys have a prom.
Yes,
Is that right?
We've had a problem.
You've had a prom in the past.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Okay.
Yes, it was not unable to, because
Funding.
yeah.
Of course. But no, that's great. I mean, everything you were describing, from that to sort of the community activities, all of that, I mean, is more than a lot of students get, but it's sometimes what you get through clubs or, you know, other things. And so if you don't have a club, or, you know, other extracurriculars that you're involved with, having somebody who's in this sort of ASB type position, do they sort of communicate with the students and get them to bring things in?
That's what our main focus is going to be on next year, of having it run that way, that we have a main group of them and they're making sure each site is doing what they need to do to communicate, and then letting me know, hey, we're lacking here, what can we do? Let's go get these guys more motivated to bring them out. And they have to meet once a month, and we'll go to our ranch again, which we have a big team building leadership type of day up there up in San Jacinto. And then, like I said, at the end we're invited back, and then we turn around and help out with the little kindergartners and doing our song and dance, huh, Melissa? That we were able to do. It was neat. They had a good time. So it's really neat to see our young adults engage out there within the community. And anytime we went to Museum of Tolerance this last year too, we took a big old group down there, and very respectful. Our students are very respectful wherever we've gone. I've never had an issue at a college tour or a trip with any of our students of any type of misbehavior whatsoever. Very respectful young adult and women that we have.
So for all intents and purposes, this is really like everything that's good about a traditional high school is sort of, you know, I don't know, augmented.
Yeah.
And then tailored to each individual student.
Yep.
Right.
So that's wonderful. And again, talking about how this is different from your typical, you go online, like you said, and maybe you procrastinated a little bit. This builds community and this builds family, and that's great. So it's your traditional school, but just bigger and more involved and better in a lot of ways. So that's great. I guess to round this out, unless there's anything that I'm missing, maybe Teresa, if there's anything that you can say about general outcomes, what you've seen recently, how many students you're graduating, what those students typically do, and then also if you see this program potentially being able to be adapted and adopted by other states.
We will have, actually, in 3 weeks' time, we'll have over 300 graduates this year. I think since Come Back Kids in 2008, when we first started, there's been over 1,700 graduates, and those are all dropout, students that have dropped out, so students that would never have, gotten a traditional high school diploma. And we are continuing to grow. We focus on areas that have large dropout programs in Riverside County. And we try to find centers and work with those cities in order to help them out and help other students out. We've also had a lot of visits from other county offices. Recently, Orange County, Ventura has just contacted us as well, asking us what we do, how we do it. They've been visiting us. They are trying to figure out how to also implement the same type of program. So we've given them a lot of direction, a lot of support, answer a lot of their questions, and hopefully, there'll be other opportunities throughout different counties that that will continue.
So any big, in 5 years, what's the dream for the Come Back Kids Charter?
As our Associate Superintendent, Dr. Diana Walsh-Royce would say, she'd like us to be on every like a Starbucks on every corner. But we would like to be in more places, more sites, to make it convenient on the youth in the communities. Sometimes 20 sites, it seems like a lot. Riverside County is very large. We can easily double that, of course. But of course, it takes time and teachers and things like that and time to get that far. But eventually, yes, we would like to be a household name and really reach out and make sure that the dropout rate is going down in this county. It shouldn't be there. We want to make sure that we reach out and provide these students with different opportunities. Because not everybody fits in a traditional school. Everybody's different, and we try to tailor those things. And each student can take advantage of the opportunities. They can go in the direction they want, and we provide all those opportunities. So we don't say, this is the mold you fit in, this is what you have to do. And I think that's, our goal is to reduce that dropout rate and get our graduates up and be like Starbucks.
Okay, well, in all sincerity, I really appreciate your guys, taking the time to sit down and talk to me about this. As I said, when I first spoke to Superintendent Young about the Come Back Kids Charter, he was so passionate in describing it and talking about his goal to decrease dropouts and increase graduation rates. And that sort of got me interested. I did some research, and I'm so impressed with the program, how creative, sort of the way that you've been able to expand and get on the vocational side, but also, stay academic, help with college counseling. I'm really, really impressed, and I'm really, really happy to have met both of you, all four of you, but particularly you two, because I was reading about the program. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think Riverside is doing a lot of really great, Riverside County is doing a lot of really great things that I think should get noticed. And I think you guys are shining examples of what other cities can do and what they can do for their citizens. And you guys are going to do great things. So just thank you for opening up your stories to me, and thank you for
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, so let's do a little bit of bikini practice. right, Diego. So you've been with Riverside Youth Judo Club. It's part of our Police Activities League. You've been with us for about how long now?
3 years.
About 3 years. And when you came to start with the Judo Club, what were some of the things you enjoyed the most?
I enjoy helping a lot, like little kids, special development. I love learning some discipline, self-defense in case something bad happens, and a new family of it too.
Yeah.
Communicate with my problems.
So you actually participate in all 3 of our classes here. You help with the little kids, you help mentor our special needs kids, and then you have your own class, and you've competed many times, right? Yeah. Did you discover some other programs while you were here at the Judo Club that the police department offers?
Yeah, I discovered the O program and the Virtual Police Explorers.
Okay, so you took the O program, Opportunities with Education. You got in a little bit of trouble, at school, and your parents and we all talked about it, and we got you into the O program with the help of some of our other staff here. And how did that go?
It went well.
Went well? Did you learn some stuff? Okay. And then after the O program, was there anything else you joined?
I joined the Riverside Police Explorers.
Yeah. The Police Explorers, which teaches you some of the basic techniques of law enforcement and all that. And how do you enjoy that?
I love it.
So what are you going to do right after this right now? Is there someplace you have to go?
I want to go to the Army.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Army, I want to become an officer.
Okay. How are your grades? Your grades getting better?
I'm trying to keep it up. I had a project from 10 days. Still waiting for the points to come and see my grades in this.
Do you think the club, O program, the Explorers program, all of these programs, you think they've helped you in school a little bit? Yeah. You see the importance of grades and doing well in school, that also has a lot to do with your future, right?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, you've been one of our first students and one of our most loyal students, so we appreciate everything you've done and everything you've given to the club, because you actually give back to our club as well, so we very much appreciate that. All right, so we have here one of our younger students, Jade. And Jade, you joined judo after your brother joined? Okay, how long have you been in our class?
Like about 3 years.
Okay, 3 years. So 3 years, and you've made orange belt, which is really good. And how old are you?
11.
You're 11. How many tournaments have you fought in with us, Jade? Do you remember?
I think about 4.
About 4. And have you won medals before? Yeah, you're a pretty good fighter. So are there things you really like about the Judo Club?
I like helping the little kids.
So you come in and you help with our little kids, right? Like our 3, 4, 5-year-olds. You help teach them, and then you take your own class, right? You've been doing really, really good. And then we have Zoe. Zoe's one of our newer students. And how long have you been with us, Zoe?
5 months.
About 5 months, and you're a yellow belt now, and you're moving along really well. And are there things you've enjoyed learning about in this class?
Yeah, I like helping the little kids.
You like helping the little ones too, because you've been volunteering now with our smaller kids program, our Tiny Tots, some of our 3, 4, 5-year-olds, and you enjoy doing that?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big help when you guys come in and help out with our little kids, and it kind of gives back, and that's a big part of judo, right? We give back to because someone helped teach you guys. Now you guys are helping teach the little kids, and when you teach, does it help you learn judo?
Yes.
It does. How about your grades? How are you doing in school?
I'm doing great.
You're doing great, like straight A's almost?
I'm a straight B's.
Oh, okay, but you're in an accelerated program, like a STEM program, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so doing really good, and you and I, Zoe, have talked about your grades. You're doing really good?
I actually have I believe, like a B plus on the verge of an A.
Almost straight A's. Very good. Okay, and you guys know that's a big part of this club, right? Is our grades and how we act at home and all of that. So Have you competed in your first tournament, right, Zoe? How'd you like it?
It was fun.
Was it a little scary?
Yes.
A little bit scary, but you're going to be competing in some more coming up, right? Yeah. So, is there anything, if there were other kids out there, your friends or whatever, that may want to join the judo club? Is there any thing you would tell them, Zoe?
I would tell them that they need to like be able to learn technique and then remember the technique.
Yeah. How about you, Jade? Is there anything you tell your friend?
I think that there's advantages to you can learn techniques. It's actually really fun. Yeah.
How are the kids here? Do we have any bullies in this class?
No, not really.
Yeah, is everyone pretty nice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have a lot of special kids too, right? Special needs kids. How does everyone treat those kids?
Like the same as they treat everybody else.
Yeah, that's very important, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you two girls do a great job. We're really happy to have you as students, and we can't wait until you guys get old enough to graduate and maybe take part in our scholarship program. Yeah. So the judo club started in about June of 2012. Actually, I had considered starting a kids judo program on my own, and had a chance meeting with the chief. We ran into each other over lunch one time, and we started talking about it, and the chief really thought this would be a great program to bring into the police foundation, the police activities league. So from there, we created the club, and it's been booming ever since. We're up to almost 200 kids now.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and the Opportunity with Education, or O program, started in late 2012. And that was class 1, and we just graduated last week, class 10. So we run 2 14-week sessions each year. And so we just finished the 10th one, which is really nice. And over there, we've had the largest participation in this last class. We started out with 26 kids and their parents. We graduated with 19 and their parents. And their parents graduate with them too. The parents have to attend all 14 weeks with them as well. They're not there the whole day. They're about maybe half the day. But yeah, they have to participate. So we've probably helped since the first class, I mean, 150 to 200 families in the last 4 years.
That's great. So in terms of bringing kids into these programs, obviously you're working as a nonprofit, and so there isn't some tremendous marketing budget for you to get the word out. So how are you able to sort of connect with kids that are either interested in judo or maybe need some help because they're at risk or maybe have gotten into a little bit of trouble? Sort of how do you, I guess, bring them into the fold for both programs?
Well, for us, we use a lot of social media. A lot of folks, may not be a fan of social media, but it is a great way to get to a lot of people in a lot of places. We do presentations throughout the city. We try to let people know that these programs do exist, and a lot of it is collaborative between our different programs. For example, he may get a kid in his O program that may be interested in judo, so we bring them over here. In the same way, I've referred several kids over to the O program and to the Explorers program. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is just kind of talking back and forth and working in collaboration and such.
Yeah, I think what started out with word of mouth has really taken off to now. We still go out and we'll do presentations, and it's nice to have everything kind of encompassed under the Riverside Police Foundation, because we have fundraisers, yearly fundraisers for that, but that is also the advertisement. We're selling the programs and what the foundation does to everybody, while we're of course soliciting money to help fund them. Every dollar that is collected by the Police Foundation goes to these programs. So there's no cost for staff, things like that. And what's nice too is because we can do that and we are all collaborative, it happens all the time, as in the case of Diego. Diego started out in the judo program, and then Brian, contacts me and says, hey, I've got this kid who I think he's having some struggles, would probably be a good candidate for okay, let's put him in. And then, so we're kind of going back and forth with him to now he joins the Police Explorers. He's in 3 of our programs. So just kind of talking like that, we all have different resources. Through the O program, we work heavily with Riverside County Juvenile Probation and the Juvenile Court. So we even now have judges from the bench in juvenile court recommending or kind of advertising for us to kids with struggles. Hey, we've got the judo program, we've got ring cross boxing, we've got Explorers, we've got the O program. So we've really done a great job where instead of trying to go out there and really solicit people to join the programs, they're coming to us. And that's really nice. I can tell you an instance with the O program. When I first started it 3 years ago, took over the program, we're having to advertise a lot for it. Now with little advertisement, we're getting 70, 80 applications a session. The Police Explorer program, they're up to 100 kids. We're kind of almost getting close to maxing out some of these. Brian's program is one of the largest in the country. Our Riverside Youth Council, which are really the good kids, the kids who are going to be your valedictorians and going off to Harvard and kind of these Ivy League colleges. We're getting 60, 70, 80 applications for that for 40 positions every year. So the word of mouth has really spread like wildfire, and it's nice that we have our city and our city leadership, the mayor's office, the city council, that are out there selling it for us as well.
So as both of you are familiar with, we were discussing earlier, Robert Putnam's book, Our Kids, really emphasizes this idea that your successes in life no longer are necessarily the result of your own efforts or your own intellect, but very much the circumstances that you were born into via luck or happenstance. And so with this sort of opportunity gap in mind, what do you see each of your programs sort of doing to contribute and to help minimize that gap? You obviously both programs serve a broad range of individuals from different backgrounds who are doing differently in school, but how do you see your programs sort of helping to minimize that opportunity gap?
I know with us, and it's consistent with all our Police Foundation programs, but with us, money's just not an object that we consider. If a kid can't afford the very, very small tuition that we do have, that we just put right back into the club, then we cover it. We actually sponsor 40% of our kids, of our 200 kids in the youth judo program. Now these are not just financially at-risk kids, but we also have 45 special developing kids with autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, tuberous sclerosis, Charge syndrome. And you could just imagine the cost of having a child, with one of these special needs for their parents. So we bring them into the club. We pay for whatever cost there is. We don't tell our kids or our parents in the club who's getting sponsored and who's not. So the kids are all part of one group. So I do have kids that are 4.5, 4.6 GPAs and come from a decent, economically backed family, but also have the exact opposite, the kids on the very, very low end who are struggling just to get food. We have actually bought food for kids, we've bought clothes for kids, we've got glasses for kids, but it's all part of the club concept. And I know the other Police Foundation programs run on the same focus, where we will never exclude a kid because of ability to pay.
Yeah, and with the O program, there is no tuition. This is a free program to whoever comes to us for help. And the only exclusions, I would say, are if our program just doesn't can't meet some of their basic needs with certain mental health issues that certain kids may have. We're just not equipped with our counseling team, things like that, to deal with that. But we know who is, so we will direct them, in the right path for that. But with O, and it's not just, I know with the majority of our programs, I think the Riverside Youth Council may be the only exclusion where it's kids who live or go to school within the city of Riverside. But everything else, it's not limited to just your residency, going to your attendance here in Riverside. For the O program, if we have a family who's willing to come into Riverside for 14 weeks, we're probably going to accept them, and we're not going to charge them for that. That's been a direction made by our chief and leadership early on when they started the police foundations. We're not going to turn away folks and families from help just because of financial struggles. So we make sure that that's the case. And with O, it's the same thing. We get kids who, the program was really designed for those kids who fall through the cracks. Unfortunately, a lot of services out there for kids and for families, the kid or the teen will have to have committed a crime and be in the system, or they're a victim of a crime, maybe through parents or something like that, so they're in the child protective system. Well, we will take those kids too, along with the ones who haven't met that threshold yet. So we don't want to turn away anybody just because, we can't help you, you haven't committed a crime yet. Well, that's what we're trying to prevent in kind of all the programs. And what's nice about them is we do have this wide spectrum from the very at-risk kid. And at-risk is really defined by kind of where they came from, the neighborhood they live in, the school, the environment that they're in, to at-risk to start using drugs, alcohol, and making really bad choices at an early age. To those who are at risk, like with our youth council, to being their valedictorian, to going off and to Harvard and then discovering something, inventing something, and hopefully coming back to Riverside to start it here. And so, and everything in between. That's why we have our youth court, we have our police explorers, we have a teen-to-teen program, which is a mentoring program at one local high school. And it's not just police mentoring. We've got judges, we've got business people, we've got lawyers, you name it, they have it as a mentor. So yeah, we kind of are trying to fill a need for everybody. In the O program, we have a boy like Diego, I keep referencing to him, where he lives in a neighborhood where he's got a lot of negative influence through gangs, things like that, drug use. He started heading in that direction until he comes to judo. And because judo has structure, O has structure, explorers have structure, all these programs have structure that he not necessarily wasn't lacking at home, but lacking in his overall environment. He's on the right path. He's got clear goals that he probably didn't have 3 years ago when he started. Wasn't even thinking that far. Now we heard him, he wants to go into the Army, he wants to be a police officer. He's succeeding at the Explorers, all that, and judo. He graduated really well, was one of our speakers at the graduation ceremony. So we try to cover with these programs, but specifically O and judo, a wide range, and not turn away anybody because of one little struggle they may be having. We're going to help them with that.
Perfect. So you sort of started to touch on, and this is a perfect segue, could you give me an idea of sort of if I was enrolled in the youth judo program or an O, what my the day that I spent with O would look like, or maybe what a class would look like, and then also what your sort of hopes and objectives long term are with these kids. You've talked a bit about hoping that they go to college, but sort of how do you reinforce that, and how do you sort of I don't know, sort of get them to you feel that one, sure.
In the judo program, and it's very similar to all the other police foundation programs, education is huge. But say a student were to join us, even at a very young age, or even a special developing student with what we reference as a very low IQ. We have a mentoring program in our judo club, and you heard a few of the kids today. Once they become proficient enough in class, they will then in turn come in and help out with our beginning students. So your first day in judo may be working with some of our more advanced students who come in and volunteer their own time, actually get community service hours that they could use in school, and us being a charitable nonprofit, we're able to sign those off for them. And eventually then they're gonna move up and they're gonna be the mentors. And keep in mind, we have special developing mentors too. I have kids with autism, kids who are deaf, who are now mentors and performing at a very high level. We reward them. If they do something well in school, they get a perfect attendance award. They get a honor roll. We, in fact, kind of represent them with an award, a certificate that I get the chief to sign. And it's a very nice certificate that says you're doing well in school. We want that. And eventually keep them in the program, keep them helping other kids, and then hopefully one day they end up on our board over there as a graduate going into college, where we actually give them a financial scholarship, something to kind of help get them kick-started in their college career. So no matter where they come from, no matter what their background is, financial or otherwise, we want them to move on. From our kids who are homeless, we sent one kid who was basically homeless to the Naval Academy. We helped him get there. To one of my very first autistic students who graduated and moved on to one of our community colleges, which is a tremendous achievement. So that's kind of how we start all the way to our end game, as it were.
Yeah, and with the O program, we're taking kids and their parents they're having some struggles. They are, at risk for a variety of reasons I stated earlier, but we're trying to reteach the kids how to be compliant, how to not be defiant anymore, while at the same time we're teaching their parents how to better parent. In our program, it is mandatory that the parents or the legal guardians have to be a part of the program. That means for the 14 weeks, and that's on Saturdays, the parents or legal guardians are there with their kids. We have parenting classes and group counseling that we give to the parents in the morning while we have the kids outside, and we're doing basic military style drill exercises. We're not teaching the kids how to, how it's going to be in the military. We're not that strict. We're just reteaching them basic directions, basic compliance. Turn left means turn left. And we coordinate that at the same time with explaining to them, okay, when mom and dad says time to take out the trash, that means you take out the trash. You don't negotiate with them. They get up and they take out the trash. They go to school. So they're doing their homework. We're relating kind of the struggles that we know parents have, daily struggles, to the kids in a better way. So we're teaching the kids how to be better kids, how to be better kids to their parents, but we're teaching the parents how to parent. Not be friends, but to be parents. So that's a mandatory part of the program. And we have learned over the last few classes that when we sell the program to the parents and we get them on board, it's not very hard to get their kids on board. Kids, it's just, this is human nature. Kids mimic their parents. And so when you can get the parent to buy into something, you're probably going to get the kid to buy into it. And we've seen those successes. So we change the parents, we're changing the kids. A lot of times, the O program is probably more beneficial to the parent. We get some kids that are doing okay. They have struggles, but they could probably, need some better parenting. And we've seen that, where now we've changed the parent. But we know we have a 14-week program because we know change doesn't happen overnight. And in counseling too, the counselors need to spend time, develop rapport and relationships with these kids and their parents in order to get them to realize what they've been doing wrong, what they need to do, terms of positive choices in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, we have free counseling. That it's a mandatory part of our program, is to participate in free counseling. And during the whole 14 weeks, it's free. So the counselors are not going to charge. And then after our program, if it's recommended that they still continue, then they'll work out a deal. They'll figure something out. And luckily, we have a counseling organization through Life Source Solutions that offers low-cost counseling anyway. And we want the kids to continue things like that, and the parents.
It sounds like they have. There are a lot of success stories so far. So my last question for you both. There's an emphasis both in Robert Putnam's book and moving forward on this idea of scalable solutions. You know, he didn't just write the book to point out that, hey, there's this problem in America. He wanted to sort of start a conversation. And obviously, these are wonderful programs that are really doing a lot locally. Do you see these programs being scalable to, other areas, either within California or other states? Maybe have the programs been adopted anywhere else? Sort of where do you see this going? Is there the possibility for expansion, and are these generalizable?
For us, it's a very simple process. It isn't something that's unattainable. You go to your local city, or maybe your YMCA or youth center, and you ask if you could utilize a room. You get some mats. As far as the judo club goes, you get some mats. Fundraisers work well. We operate on a very, very low financial budget. For the judo program, all of my instructors, I have 14 black belt instructors, and I have 2 board certified behavioral analysts that come in and help with our special needs kids. Every single one of them are a volunteer, 100%. No one gets paid one dime. These people are out there, and they're willing to come in and help out because they have the same goals as us. So there is no one being paid large amounts of money. This is not a commercial process. I think it's the community working together, local government, city police departments, different youth organizations. They all put their heads together. This is scalable to any size city, from the largest city down to city with just several thousand folks.
The same thing with the O program. We are almost a volunteer-based program. Our counselors, some of our other volunteer staff, they're that volunteers, and it goes along with the concept that really, is started with Brian and the judo program with that village mentality. It takes a village to raise a kid. So we go to the village. We have members of the law enforcement, public safety, district attorney's office, judges, the counseling staff, business owners, and we say this is what we need to try to make this program work. So we think we've come down with a lot of our programs a good model that can be taken out to other jurisdictions, other cities, and to be successful with, especially in times like this with a lot of budget issues, trying to maximize the most with the least of what you have. And a lot of that is through the volunteerism that we see in these 2 programs, but a lot of our programs, a lot of programs throughout our city.
Okay, well, thank you both so much for agreeing to sit down with me and spread the word about youth judo and opportunities with education.